In another few days, Barbados will mark another anniversary of independence. As we once again celebrate the anniversary of the raising of the ultramarine black and gold that has become a symbol of our independence, we pause to reflect on what that means. In this special GIS Independence program, we will feature a recollection of the events which took place leading up to the very first Independence Day back in 1966, through the eyes of 10-year-old Andrea King, now Murrell. We will also feature stories about that famous Barbadian character, Osimmore, and you get the opportunity to test your knowledge of Barbadiana when we share some old Bajan proverbs and their meanings. First, here's an adaptation of a story told by Andrea King on the events of Barbados' first Independence Day.
Granny, read me a bedtime story.
What did you want to hear? Snow White, Rapunzel, Cinderella?
No, tell me the one about the first Independence Day. I love when you tell me that one.
Ah, that is one of my favorite stories. Okay, under the covers you go. It happened many years ago when I was just a girl. It was a rainy night, much like this. Just a few weeks before, we were celebrating Guy Fawkes Day, complete with fireworks and conkeys. Mummy had just announced that we were going to the garrison to be part of what she kept referring to as an historic moment. I didn't really know what an historic moment meant back then. All I knew was that I got to dress up in my best underclothes. Mummy had loaded our Vauxhall Viva station wagon with corned beef sandwiches, conkeys, fish cutters, mobby, Shirley biscuits, and red juicy. I was so excited. We were going to have a picnic only at night instead of during the day.
Were there lots of people there, Granny?
Oh yes, there were lots and lots of people there. I think Barbados experienced its first rail traffic jam that day. We left home that evening at 4 o'clock sharp. Daddy said we had to in order to get a good parking space. I didn't really mind. I just felt excited to be dressed up in my favorite dress, with matching ribbons in my hair. That night, everyone called me Princess Anne. The rain started to pour like I had never seen before. Showers of blessing, my mother had called it.
Weren't you afraid you would catch a cold?
I remembered being cold, but excited at the same time. I was too young to really understand what was happening, but I knew it would have been something important and was going to be a part of it.
So what happened next, Granny?
Oh, then the ceremonies began. Imagine the parades, police band, regiment, majorettes, Boy Scouts, Girl Guides. From where I was sitting, I could see the water sloshing around the boots of the marchers, and I was cheering, trying my best to encourage them on. Then came the moment we had all been waiting for. Sir John Stowe, our last British-appointed governor, and our first Governor-General, stood next to Errol Walton Barrow, who became our first Prime Minister. I could see that look of pride on Mr. Barrow's face as he slowly lowered the red, white and blue Union Jack. Then, assisted by Hartley Dutton of the Barbados Regiment, he slowly raised our flag. Oh, the ultramarine, black and gold forever. Would you imagine that to that moment? Some people did not know if the prongs of the trident were to be pointed to the sky or to the earth. We were familiar with using our forks to till the earth, and now all of a sudden, here was this fork on our flag, and we had not a clue what to do.
So did you tell them, Granny?
No, child. They figured it out eventually. This fork was being held up high as a symbol of pride. Barbados breaking away from England. Our ties with Great Britain were finally broken. More rain began to pelt down as the Barbados Festival Choir launched into their first official performance, and guess what that was?
The national anthem.
That is absolutely correct. At school they had taught us the words to both verses, so we sang right along with them. Afterward, it was like one big party up at the garrison. Everyone was family and everyone was happy. It was like nothing had ever seen before. We didn't even realize how much rain had fallen. Daddy just figured it was a good sign, and we all continued to join in the festivities. Finally, people began to leave, and at 4 a.m. on November 30th, our Independence Day, we decided to leave too. But Daddy had obviously underestimated the damage the rain had caused. He tried and tried, but the vehicle just wouldn't budge. Fortunately, a group of youngsters from the surrounding areas of Dalkeith, Paddock Road, Chelsea Road and Bayland were in good spirits. They readily agreed to dig us out using ropes, wooden planks, bare hands, whatever, until they got us free. In exchange, we shared our food and drinks when we got on firmer ground. On our drive home, I kept looking through the back glass window, wishing I could go back and hoping that the night wouldn't end. But I remember thinking that when I got older, I would make sure that I tell the story of our first independence to my children and their children as long as I am alive.
So, Granny, do you think that everyone in Barbados knows the story of our first independence?
Unfortunately not. But let's hope that other people will write down their story and tell it to their grandchildren, so when they say Happy Independence, they have some idea of what really took place.
That was an adaptation of a story told by Andrea King on the events of Barbados' first Independence Day. One thing about Bajans, we love to laugh. Ask any Barbadian to give you a true Bajan joke and they will tell you about the character Osimmore. According to the A to Z of Barbadian heritage, Osimmore was actually a real person. He was born George Ethelbert Oscar Moore on March 30th, 1900 in Lanes Road, Paynes Bay, St. James. Ossie came from a fairly well-off family of 6 boys and 4 girls and was described as a not very bright fellow who did some very strange things. Some Osimmore jokes made reference to a wife, yet he never married or had any children. He did have a female companion to whom he promised marriage whenever he wanted to have his way with her. Other jokes refer to his fishing activities, even though he was never known to fish. He actually worked as a handyman for the late magistrate Seymour Nurse. Even though Osimmore suffered with epilepsy in his later years, he outlived his allotted 10. Osimmore, who was also described as a hard-working, mild-mannered, respectful man, died on June 17, 1976, at the ripe old age of 76. Here are some Osimmore stories.
You hear this one about Osimmore?
So Ossie once worked as a watchman on a plantation, and one day he caught a boy stealing some corn. He arrested the boy, and as he was taking him to the plantation yard, the boy realized he dropped his cap and asked permission to go back for it. Here, Ossie.
Yes, you think I was an idiot? You can play that, you get back for the cap, and then run where? Where you stand there? I get back for the cap.
You hear this one about Osimmore?
One night, somebody saw Ossie in the glare of a street light, searching diligently for something. "Were you looking for, Ossie?" the man asked.
$1, it just dropped from me.
"Where you was when it dropped?" the man asked, intending to help him search.
Further up back the road.
"Are you searching for it down here?"
You blind?
Ossie asked.
You can't see how dark it is up there.
You hear this one about Osimmore?
Ossie worked in a general store, and one day when a customer asked for an item, he said,
We don't have any more.
and the customer left. The proprietor came over and admonished Ossie.
Oscar, when you're out of an item, you should always say, we don't have it, but, we have so-and-so instead.
Sometime later, a customer asked for toilet paper, and the store was out of stock. Then remembering what his boss said, Ossie told the customer,
We owe him toilet paper right now.
Ossie said helpfully,
But we got gift wrap paper and sandpaper. Wait, what are you laughing at?
There's a Bajan proverb for almost every situation. From "Give Jackie Jackie," which means to give every man his due credit, to "How you may know where old house live," which means advantage is taken of those known to be weak. These sayings were extremely popular years ago and are now mostly used by the older generations in Barbados. Sometimes, young people have trouble understanding exactly what some of these sayings mean, as can be heard in the following dramatization.
Young boy, where are you going in such a hurry? You almost knocked me down. You don't know that taking time is laziness.
I'm so sorry, Miss Archer. I didn't even see you there. But I don't understand what you mean by taking time and laziness. Because the way I was raised, I learned that you have to rush to get things done quickly.
But young boy, you realize that you were running so fast that you almost knocked me over? And this old lady can't take many falls, especially with arthritis. Taking time and laziness means that a lot more can be done if you take your time and don't rush.
But Miss Archer, I have to run home, clean my room, wash the dishes. I have an assignment to do for school tomorrow. And then I have to run back down the road to go to the beach with my brother. And I have a football match tonight.
Wait, you have very much things to do? I hope you know that hurry never done.
What do you mean by that now?
I just saying that anything done in a hurry is never done properly.
Okay, Miss Archer. Let me help you with your groceries.
Thank you, child. You know these two old feet of mine need a little help sometimes. So how you doing though?
Miss Archer, I'm real tired. I was rushing around for the whole day and I ain't even eat nothing yet.
Listen, you ain't eat nothing for the whole day? Young boy, empty bag can't stand up but for bake a bang.
Miss Archer, you have a Bajan proverb for everything. What that one means?
It means that when you eat, you have more strength than if you don't.
Okay, I will probably grab a quick bite before I leave home. Oh shoot, let my father know coming. I want to get all my chores done before he got back home.
Hi, Miss Archer. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm just glad that your son has decided to help me down the road. It goes to show that when you leave home per morning, you don't know who can feed you.
But Miss Archer, I didn't give you anything to eat.
No, Jason. That is an old Bajan saying that means you never know who will lend you assistance. Because I know that Miss Archer never expected you to help her with her groceries.
Okay, I now understand.
Wait, Jason, did you finish those chores I left for you to do this morning?
Hopefully Jason follows Miss Archer's advice and takes his time, especially when he's doing his chores, because as the Bajan saying goes, don't rush the brush and throw away the paint. That means if things are done in a hurry, you will only end up creating more problems for yourself. And that concludes our special GIS Independence program. We hope you enjoyed it. On behalf of the Barbados Government Information Service, we wish you a safe and happy Independence Day. And by the way, you hear this one about Osimmore? One day, Osimmore caught a green lizard and he put it down to ripen.